Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Now look here at Dogecoin, double checking a few things. We got 40 cents here and some change at this point, trying to break through that tentative resistance range. And basically the resistance, folks, isn't nothing monumental, but we can see we've had some difficulty at this 0.5 fib level at 41 cents. So we're right there at that range. So we're going to see here soon if that is going to be broken here. So when we take a look at the back-end liquidation data, that'll help us kind of get a barometer of what's going on in the back end. We always start with that and go from there. And I just want to say, if you're new to the community, perhaps you've been watching for a while, thanks again for always hitting that like button, commenting below. Deeply appreciate that. Quick congrats to our community members here as well for some nice profits from our Bitcoin 42% short from 98,000 to 91.5, and of course a Tau long. I forget where we got in, but we're up about 56% on that. We do have a long open as well with SUI too. So awesome stuff there. Let's take a quick look here at backend data first and work our way down. Let's start with the 12-hour and kind of see if there's any indicative, smaller time frame identifications of what's going on here. And what I mean by that is when we look at liquidation, it just kind of tells us where the heavier concentrations are. In other words, these are where people are heavy on shorts or longs. And in this case here, 40.6 is a pretty solid amount of liquidation there, all the way upwards of about 41. So safe to presume between here and 41 cents, we're going to see some shorts get liquidated, or just more importantly, the price action is more likely to go up than down because of that. Not to say it couldn't still go down here, folks. It's just that there's less liquidation on the downside and less incentive for the whales to manipulate the price. And again, they do that because basically what they do is they set a lot of small limit orders with a massive wallet or portfolio, and then once they get to that level where every opposition has been swept, they can sell and pull the price all the way back down and act as if it never happened. But meanwhile, they have a lot less opposition when that occurs. So again, it's an interesting thing the way that works out. But it's a pretty high probability it's going to happen when those things are existent, right? When they're available. At this point, though, we can see more people trying to short than long. Basically, liquidation delta is telling us that we are more likely to see success shorting than we are taking long. However, this has been active for about 4 days now, because this is basically a 5-day look back. So the truth is, people have been shorting Dogecoin for the last 4 days, and that shift in momentum has to swing the other way. That's why we oftentimes see things happen in threes, right? You see 72 hours of continuation in one direction, followed by 24 hours in the opposite. We're likely to see some shorts get squeezed out today. It just seems practical based on the fact that Bitcoin is stabilizing at the 95 to 96K range. We look here, open interest, which might be a little easier to scroll this over and to identify. We can see 40.6, what do you know? That local point of control there, based on open interest, is effectively that next area of consideration. That's where a lot of liquidation starts. Same thing here as well. We got 42 and 44.5. Those are next areas of basically just places that people are heavy. They're averaging their position at those levels. All right, so daily time frame, let's work our way down, see what's going on. We are above all moving averages, which is generally favorable. Keep in mind we can still move down further and still be considered bullish. So when you hear me say bullish on the macro, it doesn't necessarily imply you just hit the long button and take a 10x to 100x leverage trade because some Tom, Dick, and Harry online is posting on social media how great they are with phenomenal results just taking a long in the blind. Folks, try not to listen to everything you see online. I mean, be careful and skeptical with me too, for honestly. If this is your first time watching, watch a little while, make sure I got my stuff together, right? I hope that you can vet whoever you're listening to out there. But the truth is, I've been trading for over 20 years, and I can tell you, in that time frame, you see a lot of nonsense, and it's easy to see through the BS now. I hope the same for you too at one point. And again, all we're doing is trying to increase our odds of success, looking at the charts and analyzing them the way that we do. That's all there is to it. It's never an exact science, though. I mean, things can be so perfect, and then the back end just, market makers are like, nope, we're hitting the old reset button today. Anyways, we can see here we are essentially descending with our RSIs, pulling back, but it's under 70, above 50, generally favorable. Thing I don't love here is money flow index is very low. It's basically telling us money's been flowing away from this coin last 14 days versus coming into it. So while it's still favorable, still good, that's usually not a great sign taking a long into that. Okay. MACD's diverging, stochastic's diverging for the second time, carries more weight than the first. So I don't feel super confident that Doge is just going to take off from here based on that. Okay, those are again just some macro things that take a while to play out. 4-hour time frame, we're below the 20-day SMA, and we're right there. We're right there. If we zoom in, we can see the 20 and the 50-day SMA all hanging out in the same spot. So it's working as a resistance for the moment. So until we break above this descending trend, generally unfavorable conditions to try to trade into that. While we have more liquidation on the upside, we haven't truly broken through that threshold yet. Okay, and this again, just a trend line, but trend lines are generally probably the more stronger indicators letting us know where we're at in the overall sentiment. Because again, Dogecoin still has yet to break its lower high, lower low pattern, and that really just implies that bears are still in control. 4-hour time frame, we can see right there at 50, generally unfavorable for a long, but being above that would be better. So we're right on this edge. Like I see this with every coin I've analyzed today. I've almost looked at 10 different charts today, and majority of them all speak the same thing. We're in a descending trend line. We're just about to break free. We have short-term bullish continuations, but long-term and 4-hour divergences. So it's like, what the hell is going on here? It's really hard to want to take a trade right now with confidence because we're right on this edge of either greatness or disaster. Okay. So a lot of times you want to presume the price will break down because that's the current trend until it doesn't. But truth is, Bitcoin's showing a little more strength today with heavier money flowing into it and generally just a positive situation. So there's that as well. Okay. So that being the front runner, that could possibly consider the price going higher. We got a MACD convergence here on the horizon, pretty strong indication of good momentum or just potential momentum shift. However, again, money flow index is pretty low, but that takes into consideration a lot of selling pressure here recently. The truth is, though, we're still below our moving average here for volume, so this push up is not super sustainable as is unless that volume increases. It's usually not a good sign. It basically just implies the bears are waiting to pounce. For hourly time frame, we can recognize each Mocha cloud is considered to be again on the edge of greatness or disaster. In other words, we're breaking above the cloud, or we've been above for maybe 2 or 3 hours, but it's not like a definitive break. We got our local point of control there at 40.1. We've got the lag and span free and clear conversion line over the baseline. 9 out of 10 reasons here why a long position is viable. But again, every single coin you look at here today is going to show favorable results in the small time frames, but the 4-hour and the daily time frames are conflicting. So it's usually not best practice to take a long into that. That's just all there is to it. And you also don't want to necessarily take a short into this either, because we've tested this descending trend line multiple times. We're getting close to a potential breakout. It can be difficult. And just keep in mind, if you want to try to trade the breakout, it's a higher risk. So breakout traders are generally less successful. So when you see people saying, go all in right now, you probably shouldn't listen to them, just simply based on the simple fact that we don't have confirmation that this is going to continue. While it should, and we have good indication on the smaller time frames, there's a lot of other conflicting factors. All right. So do you like taking trades into possibilities or probabilities? I don't know. To me, this seems like a 60% chance of going up and 40% chance going down. Those odds aren't high enough for me to want to take a long. That's just me personally. But again, this could be a missed opportunity if you don't get in right now. So there's a lot of little things to kind of think about. But the truth is, being patient, I think, is probably the best strategy here. And I'm going to recommend we maybe wait a little bit longer before we take a trade. I would be looking for the price action to essentially hang out in this 40 to 41 cent range. If it does, we'd probably have somewhat of a bullish rectangle. And that's the kind of trade you want to take into. But right now, we're just barely testing this resistance level. It doesn't make a ton of sense to jump in. Try not to FOMO in, folks. Again, spot bags are different stories, but high leverage trades, no, don't do that. All right, anyways, easy to say now, of course. Thanks again so much for watching. I hope you learned something today. Make sure you join us over at Bitunix too, folks. Phenomenal exchange. They have a $60,000 prize pool this month for the top 20 traders. While that's almost over, next month will be a significantly large deposit bonus, so hold off on depositing funds if you are planning to do so, at least until the first of the month. I'll provide those results here soon. I've also got a Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I post my playout charts there regularly, just kind of letting you know the mindset that I'm in for trades I'm planning to take. All right, folks, have a good rest of your day. We look forward to seeing the next one. Take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.